You have been bending your reality your entire life, only unconsciously. What appears solid is governed by unseen laws that respond to your inner vibration. As these truths unfold, you will remember that manifestation is not creation, but attunement. Master your frequency, and the universe rearranges itself to match you. Bend your reality. Introduction. Reality is not the rigid structure it appears to be, but a living design that yields to the tone of your inner life. It does not respond to fleeting wishes or spoken hopes, but to the steady vibration you embody. When this is understood, you awaken to a sacred truth. You do not shape the world through effort, but through alignment with what already exists in the unseen. You are not meant to summon your desires into being. Like a vessel tuned to a hidden current, your purpose is to attune your consciousness to the realm where your desires are already fulfilled. This is the ancient meaning behind the words whispered through the ages: ask, and it shall be given. The asking is not a request, but a state of harmony with the thing you seek. Every thought you hold, every feeling you nurture, releases a subtle signal into the field of creation. These signals are never lost. They move through the infinite fabric of possibility, gathering form and substance until life reflects back to you the frequency you have sustained. This is why passing desires fade, while deeply rooted beliefs become destiny. You have been creating without pause, even in moments of doubt and forgetfulness. The conditions surrounding you now are the echo of patterns long broadcast from within. Your power does not lie in learning something new, but in remembering what you have always been doing. In this remembrance, you cease to drift and begin to conduct the symphony of your own existence. No elaborate ritual is required to master this law, only awareness. Each moment invites you to choose the signal you transmit: scarcity or abundance, fear or trust, limitation or expansion. What you choose to sustain, reality accepts as instruction. This wisdom was never hidden by complexity, but by its simplicity. It has rested quietly in plain sight, waiting for the instant you are ready to recognize the architect you have always been. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of the Inner Architect. Chapter 1. The Whisper Beneath the Noise. In the dance between consciousness and creation, signs and symbols weave through the fabric of everyday moments, waiting to be recognized. Through a simple autumn leaf, the universe beckoned to Millie, reminding her that life's gates never truly close. They merely await a shift in perception. As Millie watched that leaf catch the morning light, something awakened within her. It wasn't the leaf itself, but the way it commanded her attention, breaking through the gray film of resignation that had settled over her world. This is how the universe initiates dialogue, through seemingly ordinary moments that suddenly shimmer with extraordinary significance. The language of attention speaks in whispers, not shouts. When Chester discovered his broken radio's mysterious responsiveness to his emotional state, he stumbled upon a fundamental truth of existence. The world around you mirrors your inner frequency. His radio didn't simply malfunction, it demonstrated the precise attunement between consciousness and reality. These experiences reveal the subtle orchestration of the universe. Just as Millie's leaf danced differently in that moment of recognition, and Chester's radio played fragments of hope-filled melodies. Your environment constantly adjusts to match your inner state. The world around you is more fluid, more responsive than you might imagine. This sacred dialogue requires only your willingness to notice. When you align your attention with beauty, beauty multiplies. When you attune to possibility, possibilities emerge. The universe speaks in the language of resonance, matching your inner frequency with outer experience. Ancient practice of noticing. As the day draws to a close, find a quiet moment to practice this timeless ritual of awareness. Settle into stillness and recall 3 simple moments of beauty from your day. Perhaps it was the way sunlight painted shadows on your wall, the unexpected kindness in a stranger's smile, or the perfect symmetry of a flower petal. Let gratitude fill you as you acknowledge each detail, knowing that your recognition magnifies its significance. Through this practice, you strengthen your capacity to perceive the sacred conversation happening all around you, awakening to the living language of the universe. Chapter 2. The Invisible Architecture of Belief. The garden holds ancient wisdom for those who observe its subtle teachings. As your fingers touch the soil, you touch the very medium through which thought transforms into form. In Hazel's garden, 2 identical roses received identical care in all physical ways, the same soil, the same sunlight, the same water. Yet one rose flourished beyond ordinary measure, its blooms more vibrant, its stem more robust, its leaves reaching toward the sky with uncommon vigor. The difference lay not in the physical realm, but in the invisible current of belief. To one rose, Hazel whispered dreams of greatness, painting pictures with her words of its magnificent potential. She shared her vision of its beauty, speaking to it as though it already embodied the splendor she saw in her mind's eye. The other rose, though tended to with equal physical care, received no such spiritual nourishment. This garden experiment unveils a fundamental truth. Consciousness shapes reality. Your thoughts and beliefs act as invisible sculptors, molding the clay of existence according to their pattern. What science terms expectation bias merely scratches the surface of this profound principle that mystics have known for millennia. Douglas discovered this truth through the alchemy of gratitude. In the depths of financial hardship, he began an unusual practice. Each morning, he gave thanks for abundance that had not yet materialized in his physical world. He felt the relief of bills paid, experienced the joy of financial freedom, and lived in the emotion of prosperity, all while his bank account told a different story. The universe, ever responsive to the frequency of belief, began to shift around him. Unexpected opportunities arose, forgotten debts were repaid, and new channels of income emerged. His circumstances hadn't changed his belief. His belief had changed his circumstances. This mirror-like quality of existence responds not to what you wish for, but to what you accept as real in the depths of your being. When you plant a seed in soil, you don't dig it up each day to check its progress. You trust in the unseen process of growth. Similarly, when you plant a belief in the fertile soil of consciousness, your trust in its manifestation becomes the very force that brings it into being. Ancient practice of reality shaping. As you prepare for sleep each night, create a sacred moment of transformation. Take your current challenge, whether financial, relational, or personal, and transmute it through the power of your consciousness. Rather than seeing it as a future possibility, Experience it as a completed memory. Feel the satisfaction of its resolution flowing through your body. Let every cell vibrate with the certainty of its fulfillment. Experience the relief, the joy, the completion, as though it has already occurred. Hold this feeling until your inner world becomes more real than your outer circumstances. This practice, performed with devotion, plants seeds in the cosmic soil that must, by universal law, bloom into physical reality. Chapter 3. The Magnetic Mind. In the sacred teachings passed through generations, a profound truth emerges. The mind operates as a magnetic field, drawing experiences that match its dominant frequency. You need not search far for evidence of this principle. It manifests in the simplest moments of daily life. When you resist sleep, tossing beneath sheets while watching midnight hours tick by, you strengthen the very pattern you wish to break. Yet the moment you release that struggle, as Clara discovered, rest flows naturally. Her revelation came not through forcing change, but through surrendering to what is. In letting go of her grip on sleep, she allowed the natural rhythm to return. This principle extends far beyond the bedroom. It touches every corner of your existence. Your thoughts emit a frequency as real as any radio signal, broadcasting continuously into the universal field. What you focus upon grows stronger, not because of wishful thinking, but through the immutable laws that govern consciousness itself. Consider Louis, who faced daily friction with his colleagues. His initial response, to view them as adversaries, only amplified the tension between them. Yet, when he shifted his perception, choosing to see these challenging personalities as teachers revealing his own growth edges, something remarkable occurred. The very energy that had repelled now began to attract harmony. Without a single word exchanged, the atmosphere transformed. This transformation illuminates a cardinal truth. Resistance creates more of what you resist, while appreciation draws forth what you appreciate. When you fight against circumstances, you inadvertently strengthen their hold. But when you find the hidden gift within each challenge, you alter the magnetic field of your experience. The law of attraction operates through this subtle mechanism. It responds not to your words or wishes, but to the electrical charge of your sustained attention and emotional state. Every thought carries a vibration, and like attracts like with unerring precision. Ancient practice. As the sun rises each morning, choose a single word to carry as your touchstone, perhaps peace, joy, or clarity. Let this word become more than letters. Feel its essence in your body, your breath, your being. As you move through your day, return to this feeling tone again and again. Watch as events begin to align with your chosen frequency, demonstrating the magnetic power of focused consciousness. Chapter 4. The Mirror Law Revealed. The secret of magnetic attraction lies not in what you wish for, but in the energy you consistently emanate. This truth reveals itself through countless lives transformed by this ancient wisdom. Your thoughts and feelings create a vibrational signature that the universe cannot help but match. In a quiet neighborhood, Edith discovered this principle through her own experience. Day after day, she voiced her solitude, lamenting the absence of companionship. "No one understands me," became her constant refrain. With each utterance, she unknowingly strengthened the energetic pattern of isolation. Her life became a hall of mirrors, each reflection showing back the very loneliness she proclaimed. Yet when she grasped the magnetic nature of consciousness, everything shifted. She began to quiet the inner chorus of complaint, replacing it with deliberate thoughts of connection and belonging. The universe responds not to the scattered wishes of momentary desire, but to the steady pulse of your dominant vibration. Like a radio tower broadcasting a constant signal, your inner dialogue creates waves that ripple through the fabric of reality. These waves return as the circumstances of your life. Franklin embodied this principle in a simple yet powerful practice. Each morning, as he walked through the city streets, he paused at shop windows, offering his reflection a genuine smile. At first it felt mechanical, even foolish, but he persisted, understanding that self-perception shapes all experience. Gradually, he noticed a remarkable shift. Strangers began returning his smiles, shopkeepers greeted him warmly, and opportunities for connection multiplied. His experiment proved that the world mirrors not just our outer actions, but our inner relationship with ourselves. This magnetic principle operates with unwavering precision. When you understand that your consciousness creates a field of attraction, you begin to tend your thoughts with greater care. Every moment of self-criticism or appreciation becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. The ancient practice of vibrational alignment. Before entering any new space, whether a room, building, or gathering, pause for 1 minute. Stand before a mirror or any reflective surface. Look into your own eyes with genuine warmth and appreciation. Let your smile emerge naturally, as if greeting a beloved friend. Feel the resonance of self-acceptance flowing through your being. This practice attunes your personal vibration to the frequency of wonder, preparing the field of experience that awaits you. Chapter 5. The Pulse of Emotion. In a world that often values logic above all else, a deeper truth awaits your discovery. Your emotions serve as sacred messengers from the universe itself. They are not mere disruptions to be managed or overcome, but rather precise instruments of spiritual navigation. A young woman named Betty lay weeping into her pillow one evening, believing her tears signified weakness. Yet, in that moment of vulnerability, she touched upon a universal truth that would transform her understanding forever. Her emotions were not adversaries to be conquered, but rather divine signals pointing toward alignment with her highest good. Your feelings serve as an internal guidance system, as accurate as any modern navigation device. When you learn to honor rather than suppress them, they reveal the path to manifestation with remarkable precision. Each emotion carries within it a message about your alignment with universal forces. Marvin's experience demonstrates this principle perfectly. Caught in heavy traffic one morning, anger arose within him. Instead of suppressing or indulging this emotion, he chose to view it with curiosity. This simple shift in perspective, this willingness to listen to his emotional guidance, led him to take an alternate route. Later that day, he learned of a serious accident on his usual path, one he had unknowingly avoided by heeding his emotional compass. Your emotions speak in the language of energy. Joy, excitement, and peace signal alignment with your desires. Frustration, anger, and sadness point to areas requiring energetic adjustment. None of these feelings are wrong or right. They are simply feedback from the universe about your vibrational relationship with what you seek to create. When you resist emotion, you resist the very guidance system designed to lead you toward your desires. When you embrace your feelings as sacred messengers, they become powerful allies in manifestation. Every emotion offers a choice point, an opportunity to adjust your energy and therefore your attraction point in the universal field. The mistake lies not in feeling deeply, but in misinterpreting what your feelings mean. Negative emotions do not signal failure. They simply indicate the need for energetic realignment. Positive emotions are not endpoints, but confirmations that you're moving in harmony with universal forces. Ancient practice of emotional attunement. Throughout your day, pause periodically to check which emotion resides in your chest. Rather than rushing to change or judge it, offer gratitude for its message. Then, with gentle awareness, adjust your focus toward whatever brings even slight relief. This simple practice transforms your emotional compass from a source of disturbance into a precise tool for conscious creation. In this way, every feeling becomes a sacred stepping stone on your path to manifestation. Your emotions are not obstacles to overcome, but rather celestial coordinates, guiding you toward your highest expression. Chapter 6. Trust as Frequency. When you suppress or resist your emotions, you create a barrier between yourself and the universal flow. Think of your feelings as frequencies broadcasting into the quantum field. Each emotional state carries its own unique vibration, attracting circumstances that match its wavelength. In a small village, there lived a woman named Nora, who spent years attempting to control every aspect of her existence. She meticulously planned each moment, believing that tight control would manifest her desires. Yet the more she gripped, the more life seemed to slip through her fingers like water. It wasn't until she discovered the paradox of surrender that everything changed. In letting go, she found a power far greater than control, the power of allowing. The law of attraction responds not to your efforts, but to your energetic state. Force creates resistance, while surrender opens channels for natural abundance to flow. Your emotions serve as indicators of your alignment with this flow. When you feel joy, ease, or peace, you are in harmony with universal forces. When you experience anxiety, frustration, or fear, you are working against the current. Consider the tale of Amos, whose small bakery struggled despite his relentless marketing efforts. Each day he pushed harder, worked longer hours, and spent more on advertising, all from a place of desperate need. Yet success remained elusive. The turning point came when he stopped trying to force success and instead reconnected with his love for baking. As he kneaded dough with joy rather than anxiety, something shifted. Customers began appearing naturally, drawn by the peaceful energy now infused in his creations. His surrender to the flow of life opened doors that effort alone could not breach. This wisdom extends to every aspect of your existence. The universe responds not to your actions, but to the emotional frequency behind them. When you operate from trust rather than fear, from abundance rather than scarcity, reality arranges itself to match your vibration. Ancient practice of trust. As the sun rises each morning, before engaging with the world, take a moment to center yourself in trust. Begin listing mentally all that you already trust about your day, from the sun's faithful appearance to your heart's steady beating. Feel the confidence building within you as you acknowledge these certainties. Let this practice continue until trust becomes your natural state, humming quietly beneath each action and decision. This vibration of certainty will guide your path, attracting circumstances that mirror your inner harmony. Chapter 7. Desire as Divine Blueprint. In an ancient grove, Pearl tended her small herb garden, carefully concealing her true aspirations beneath layers of duty and modesty. She had been taught that wanting more was a mark of selfishness, that contentment meant suppressing the whispers of her soul that yearned for greater expression. Each morning she would silence the voice within that urged her to share her healing knowledge with the world. The universe speaks through desire, planting seeds of possibility in fertile hearts. These sacred impulses are not random accidents, but divine indicators pointing toward your destined path of growth. When you deny your authentic longings, you resist the very force designed to guide your expansion. Your desires arise from the same intelligence that turns seeds into flowers and stars into galaxies. They are sacred blueprints encoded with your unique purpose, waiting to be acknowledged and nurtured into manifestation. What you perceive as selfish ambition is often the universe's invitation to serve at a higher level. Consider Clyde, who lived in poverty yet felt an irresistible pull toward artistry. Though his practical mind argued against wasting time on painting, his soul knew better. Each day, he would sketch on whatever scraps he could find, allowing joy to flow through his fingertips. He did not create for profit, but for the pure delight of expression. Soon, others began noticing the light that radiated from his work. Without seeking them, patrons appeared, drawn to the authentic passion evident in every stroke. Your deepest desires carry the seeds of their own fulfillment. When you honor them as sacred messengers rather than dismissing them as selfish whims, you align with the universe's natural abundance. Every authentic passion contains within it the path to its manifestation. The key lies not in forcing outcomes, but in nurturing your desires with steady devotion. Like tender seedlings, they require patient attention and loving care. When you release guilt and embrace your longings as divine guidance, you open channels through which abundance naturally flows. Ancient practice, the sacred nurturing. Find a quiet moment and bring to mind your deepest wish. Cradle it in your consciousness as you would hold a precious infant. Rather than demanding immediate results, simply shower it with gentle attention and steady affection. Let your emotion naturally feed its growth, trusting in divine timing. Practice this nurturing visualization daily, allowing your desire to mature in its own perfect season. Chapter 8. Imagination, the Forbidden Engine. A painter once whispered, "Before every masterpiece lies an unseen canvas in the mind." This ancient truth speaks to the creative force residing within imagination, not as mere fantasy, but as the architect's blueprint of reality itself. In the quiet corners of her home, Elsie filled her notebook margins with intricate patterns of stars, letting her pen dance across chapters as naturally as breathing. These celestial sketches flowed from some deeper knowing, though she gave little thought to their significance at the time. Months later, walking through the local art district, she stood transfixed before a gallery window. There, rendered in oils and acrylics, were the very same stellar arrangements she had absent-mindedly created. This was no coincidence, but rather evidence of imagination's role as reality's selecting force. Your imagination does not fabricate. It tunes into the vast field of possibility, drawing forth specific potentials into manifestation. Like a radio finding its frequency, your focused visualization sends ripples through the quantum soup of probability, causing certain possibilities to crystallize into experience. Patrick understood this principle when he began visualizing his troubled neighborhood transformed. Instead of dwelling on the discord that plagued local streets, he held steady the image of children playing safely, of neighbors greeting each other warmly, of community gardens replacing abandoned lots. This vision became his daily meditation. Soon he felt moved to start a neighborhood council, organizing cleanup events and cultural celebrations. Within months, the mood shifted tangibly. His inner picture had selected and strengthened the probability of harmony, drawing it into being through inspired action. The universe responds not to what you see with physical eyes, but to what you project through imagination's lens. Each visualization is a seed planted in fertile cosmic soil. Water it with emotion, tend it with steady attention, and watch as invisible roots take hold in the substrate of reality. Your imagination is the universe dreaming through you, selecting which potential manifestations will bloom into experience. It is not wishful thinking, but rather conscious participation in creation's endless unfolding. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment in the middle of your day. Close your eyes and allow your present life circumstances to arise in your mind's eye. Now, gently adjust this inner picture until it reflects your ideal scenario, not as a far-off possibility, but as your current reality. Feel the emotion of this perfected scene, letting it fill your body with its truth. Hold this fusion of image and feeling until it gains the weight of certainty. This practice was used by mystics who understood that imagination, properly directed, becomes the chisel that shapes tomorrow's manifestations. Chapter 9. The Alchemy of Language. Long ago, a wise woman observed that words are not mere sounds drifting into empty air. They are vibrations that ripple through the fabric of existence itself. Each syllable carries the power to shape the unseen forces that orchestrate our reality. Hattie, a dedicated office worker, found herself caught in an endless cycle of difficulties. "Everything is such a battle," she would say each morning, unconsciously programming her day for conflict. "Why does work always have to be so hard?" The universe, ever faithful to our declarations, ensured her experience matched her proclamations. Projects grew more complex, deadlines tightened, and colleagues seemed increasingly difficult to work with. She had unknowingly become the author of her own struggles through the power of her words. Your words are not passive descriptions of reality. They are active ingredients in its creation. Each phrase you speak sends ripples through the quantum field, attracting experiences that match its frequency. The ancient mystics understood this when they spoke of sacred speech and the power of mantras to alter reality's fabric. Walter discovered this truth through an unexpected experiment at his dinner table. Where once he would list the day's frustrations, he began instead to voice appreciation for even the smallest blessings, the warmth of shared bread, the light in his children's eyes, the simple privilege of gathering together. The shift seemed subtle at first, yet within days the atmosphere of his home transformed. Conversations grew lighter, laughter returned, and the bonds between family members strengthened naturally. His conscious choice of words had altered the family's vibrational field, allowing harmony to flow once again. The law of attraction responds not just to thoughts and feelings, but to the words that carry them into the world. Each complaint reinforces a frequency of lack. Each expression of gratitude strengthens abundance's signal. Your speech is a constant broadcast to the universe, programming the matrix of possibility around you. Think of your words as tuning forks, each one setting off vibrations that ripple out and return as experience. When you declare, "I can't," the universe aligns to support that limitation. When you affirm, "I am," reality reshapes itself to match your declaration. This is not positive thinking. It is the precise science of vibrational alignment through conscious speech. Ancient practice. Take notice of one phrase you frequently use that diminishes your power or lowers your energetic state. It might be, "I'm always stressed," "Nothing ever works out," or "I can't afford it." Once identified, craft a new declaration that aligns with your desired experience. Transform "I'm always stressed" into "I flow easily with life's rhythm." Replace "Nothing ever works out" with "Everything unfolds perfectly in divine timing." Watch as the universe begins to mirror back your new vibrational broadcast, proving that indeed your words are spells of creation. Chapter 10. The Gate of Present Moment. In a small mountain village, a woodcarver sat at his bench each morning, his thoughts drifting between memories of past failures and anxieties about future commissions. His works, though technically skilled, lacked the spark of life until a wandering sage shared an ancient truth. True mastery flows only through the gateway of the present moment. The universe operates with perfect timing, yet so many walk through life with their consciousness scattered across time. When you disperse your energy between regret of what was and fear of what might be, you dilute the magnetic power that shapes your reality. The present moment is not merely a philosophical concept. It is the only point of power where manifestation occurs. Like water that can only be held in a vessel that is present before you, the creative force of the universe can only flow through your awareness when it is anchored in the now. Your thoughts may travel to past and future, but your power to transform reality exists solely in this instant. Consider the merchant who spent decades accumulating wealth while dreaming of future contentment. His fortune grew, yet satisfaction remained elusive until he learned to inhabit each moment fully. Through presence, he discovered that abundance was not a destination, but a frequency available only in the now. A weaver found that when she aligned her attention with each pass of the shuttle, her tapestries began to reflect a beauty that no planning could achieve. Her presence became the thread that wove magic into the mundane. The law of attraction responds not to your desires about tomorrow, but to the vibration you embody today. The young apprentice Thomas discovered this truth while learning to shape metal. His work remained ordinary until he learned to merge his consciousness with each strike of the hammer. In that unity of awareness and action, the metal seemed to flow like water, taking forms that his anxious mind could never have conceived. These teachings reveal that manifestation requires not just clear intention, but present attention. When you stand fully in the now, past and future realign themselves around your centered awareness. The universe can only meet you where you actually are, not where you think you should be. Practice. 3 times each day, as the sun rises, at its zenith and as it sets, pause your activities completely. Feel the texture of the air against your skin, the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath. Let your awareness expand until you can sense the aliveness in everything around you. Hold this presence for 3 full breaths, allowing it to anchor you in the creative power of now. This practice, passed down through ages, attunes your being to the eternal present, where all possibilities converge. Part 2. The Experimenter of Conscious Creation. Chapter 11. The Bridge Between Thought and Matter. Long before the wise ones shared their secrets, they observed how dew forms on morning grass, invisible vapor taking shape through nature's patient alchemy. This same principle governs the manifestation of your desires into physical form. The journey from thought to thing follows precise universal law. Your consciousness acts as both the moisture in the air and the cooling temperature that allows it to condense. When you hold a vision with unwavering focus, you create the conditions for ethereal substance to crystallize into tangible reality. Through the ages, masters have taught that material existence is but thought moving at a slower vibration. The chair you sit upon, the walls that surround you, the circumstances that frame your life, all began as invisible patterns in the mind of creation. Your own thoughts possess this same creative potency. The universe responds not to the fleeting wishes that drift like scattered clouds across your awareness, but to the sustained pictures you hold in the vault of your expectation. When you maintain a clear image infused with the feeling of its reality, you establish the energetic blueprint that reality must follow. This understanding transforms manifestation from mystery into methodology. Just as water vapor requires specific conditions to become visible droplets, your desires require the right vibrational environment to materialize. That environment is created through your consistent focus and unshakable faith. The physical world is more fluid than it appears, more responsive to consciousness than your senses suggest. What seems solid is actually energy in constant motion, awaiting the imprint of directed thought. Your role is to hold the mold into which universal substance can flow and take shape. When Lauren saw his future home with such clarity that he could feel the doorknob under his palm and smell the fresh paint on the walls, he wasn't merely daydreaming, he was establishing an energetic template that reality rushed to fill. His unwavering vision acted as a beacon, drawing the perfect property into his experience with mathematical precision. In similar fashion, Sadie's questioning revealed the mechanics of materialization. Her insight into how thoughts condense into experience wasn't mere metaphor, but a glimpse into the actual physics of manifestation. Just as surely as morning dew appears on grass, your focused thoughts precipitate into physical circumstance. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment at dawn or dusk when the air holds a particular stillness. Close your eyes and picture your desire as pure energy, floating like mist in your mind's eye. Feel it beginning to condense through the power of your focused attention. With each breath, sense it becoming more substantial, more real. Let the warmth of your faith and the steady coolness of your consistency guide this transformation until, in your inner vision, what was once vapor has become as solid as crystal. Maintain this practice daily until the outer world mirrors what you've crystallized within. Chapter 12. The paradox of effortless action. The mists of creation respond not to strain, but to the gentle touch of aligned intention. This truth reveals itself through countless stories passed down through ages, yet its wisdom often eludes those who seek too forcefully. In a bustling market town, Ivy toiled endlessly at manifesting her dreams. Each morning she rose before dawn, crafting elaborate vision boards, reciting affirmations until her voice grew hoarse, and pushing herself through exhausting routines she believed necessary for success. Her determination was admirable, yet her results remained elusive. The universe seemed to retreat from her grasp with each desperate reach. Then came the fever that confined her to bed for a week. In this forced stillness, a profound revelation emerged. As she lay watching sunlight dance across her wall, she remembered why she had begun her journey: the pure joy of creation itself. In that moment of surrender, the tension in her body released, and with it, the mental strain that had blocked her natural flow. When Ivy finally rose from her sickbed, she approached her goals differently. Rather than forcing outcomes, she allowed herself to be guided by what felt light and energizing. Tasks that once seemed heavy now flowed with surprising ease. Opportunities appeared not through relentless pursuit, but through inspired nudges that felt like whispers from the universe itself. This ancient wisdom found another voice through Gerald, an artist who had lost his way in the maze of strategic planning. His upcoming exhibition had become a source of anxiety as he mapped out every detail, calculated every possibility, and attempted to control each variable. His art studio, once a sanctuary of creativity, transformed into a war room of schedules and marketing plans. One evening, frustrated by his lack of progress, Gerald pushed aside his planning documents and picked up his brushes. Without agenda or expectation, he began to paint purely for the joy of watching colors blend and forms emerge. In that state of pure creation, time dissolved. His brush moved with a wisdom beyond conscious thought. The next morning, Gerald discovered his inbox filled with inquiries from galleries. The very connections he had struggled to forge now appeared effortlessly, drawn to the authentic energy of his renewed passion. His surrender to the creative flow had achieved what no amount of strategic planning could accomplish. These stories illuminate a fundamental truth about the law of attraction. It operates most powerfully through alignment rather than effort. When you release the need to control every detail, you allow the infinite intelligence of the universe to orchestrate circumstances far beyond what your limited perspective could arrange. The universe responds not to the volume of your action, but to the frequency of your being. When you align with the essence of your desire, letting inspiration guide your movements, you enter a state of effortless creation. This is not passive waiting, but active allowing, a dance with the divine where every step feels guided by an invisible hand. Ancient practice. Select one cherished goal that has felt heavy with effort. Close your eyes and travel back to the moment this dream first sparked within you. Feel that original excitement, untainted by plans and strategies. Rest in this pure energy until movement arises naturally from within. Follow only the impulses that carry this same lightness, trusting that aligned action will reveal itself step by step. Let the path unfold through inspiration rather than force. Chapter 13. Relativity of Perspective. A merchant carried 2 heavy sacks across an endless desert. Each step felt like agony until he noticed a child skipping with similar bags, laughing as though playing a game. In that moment, his burden transformed, not in weight, but in meaning. Through the ages, masters have whispered of a sacred truth. What you perceive shapes what you receive. The universe mirrors not just your thoughts, but the meaning you assign to every experience. This divine principle reveals itself through the journey of Lila, who discovered that life's challenges shrink or expand according to the lens through which you view them. Lila faced what appeared to be an insurmountable obstacle in her business. Each morning, she would wake to mounting pressures that seemed to cast shadows across her entire existence. The weight of it pressed upon her chest until she could barely breathe. Yet one morning, while watching her daughter tackle a puzzle with playful determination, something shifted in her understanding. Instead of seeing her business challenge as a crisis, she began viewing it as a cosmic examination, a test designed not to break her, but to reveal her hidden strengths. With this subtle shift in perception, the pressure began to dissolve. Solutions emerged not because circumstances changed, but because her relationship to them transformed. This wisdom found further expression through Ron's experience with recurring patterns in his life. For years, he encountered the same obstacles: difficult relationships, financial setbacks, missed opportunities. Each time, he met these challenges with harsh self-judgment about his past choices, unknowingly reinforcing the cycle. Then, one day, while studying ancient texts about forgiveness, Ron began extending mercy toward his younger self. He saw how each past decision, even the painful ones, had served his growth. As his inner dialogue softened, so too did the external manifestations of his resistance. The recurring obstacles began to dissolve, replaced by gentler lessons and easier paths. Your perception acts as a lens through which the universe filters all experience. When you shift the meaning you assign to any situation, you alter its vibrational signature. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the fundamental recalibration of your relationship with reality itself. Ancient practice. When confronted with what appears as difficulty, pause and speak these words aloud. I welcome this experience as divine theater, orchestrated for my expansion. Continue reframing the situation in various ways, each time noticing how your emotional response shifts. Practice this until you feel the resistance dissolve and confidence emerge naturally. The size of any challenge exists only in your perception of it. By consciously choosing how you interpret each moment, you command the very fabric of your reality. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. Synchrony, the language of the field. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a weaver named Daisy noticed something peculiar. Numbers began appearing in perfect sequences. The time would show 1111 as a merchant offered exactly 11 coins for her tapestry. Later, she'd glimpse 333 written in morning dew while 3 doves crossed her path. At first, she dismissed these as mere coincidence, until the patterns grew too precise to ignore. These numeric whispers represent the universe's own calligraphy, inscribing messages through the seemingly random fabric of daily life. When you attune yourself to this subtle language, you begin to recognize that nothing occurs by chance. Each synchronicity serves as confirmation that your vibration has been received by the cosmic intelligence that orchestrates all things. The universe speaks constantly through this code of meaningful coincidence. Yet, like any language, it must be acknowledged to be understood. When you notice these patterns, you enter into dialogue with creation itself. Your awareness becomes the bridge between intention and manifestation, between thought and its mirror in physical reality. Riley, a humble craftsman, discovered this truth while restoring ancient timepieces. Initially, he attributed his perfectly timed encounters to luck, meeting exactly the right person who possessed a rare watch part he needed, or receiving an unexpected message that prevented a crucial mistake. Yet as he began honoring these synchronicities as sacred communication, they multiplied exponentially. His entire workshop began operating in a flow of divine timing, where every connection and circumstance aligned with supernatural precision. This illustrates a fundamental principle. What you recognize, you reinforce. When you acknowledge synchronicity as the universe's response system, you strengthen your connection to this divine feedback loop. Each coincidence serves as confirmation that your vibration is being mirrored back to you through the precise orchestration of events. Think of synchronicity as the universe's receipt, proof that your energetic transmission has been received and is being answered. These coincidences are actually your thoughts and feelings made manifest, showing you that reality itself moves in response to your inner state. Just as a radio must be tuned to receive clear transmission, your awareness must be calibrated to notice these subtle signs. When you maintain high vibration through gratitude and expectation, synchronicities naturally increase. They serve as breadcrumbs leading you toward alignment with your highest path. Ancient practice. Before retiring each night, find a quiet moment to reflect on the day's synchronicities. Notice the small coincidences, the perfect timing, the meaningful encounters that seemed orchestrated by invisible hands. Express gratitude for each one, knowing they confirm your connection to the cosmic intelligence that guides all things. Let this recognition strengthen your trust in the universe's responsive nature. This simple practice of acknowledgement will multiply these divine arrangements, creating an ever-increasing flow of meaningful synchronicity in your daily experience. Chapter 15. The Shadow as Hidden Ally. Chapter 15. The Shadow's Hidden Gift. In a small mountain village, a young weaver sat before her empty loom, paralyzed by the sight of her neighbor's intricate tapestries. Each thread of her envy seemed to bind her hands, preventing her from creating. Yet within this darkness lay a precious truth waiting to be uncovered. The emotions you label as negative are not your enemies. They serve as messengers, carrying wisdom from the depths of your being to the surface of awareness. When you feel the sting of jealousy or the burn of anger, you stand at the threshold of transformation. These shadows point toward unexpressed light within you. The law of attraction responds not to the face of emotion, but to its essential energy. When you resist or suppress these feelings, you trap their power in patterns of limitation. Yet when you welcome them as teachers, their voltage transforms into creative force. Consider the realm of feelings as an alchemist's laboratory. Each emotion, even those deemed unworthy, contains raw material for manifestation. Envy whispers of dormant talents yearning to emerge. Anger signals boundaries requiring honor. Fear illuminates values held dear. The art lies not in elimination, but in transformation. When you embrace these shadowed messengers, their energy transmutes naturally into fuel for growth. Your task is not to wage war against your darker feelings, but to recognize them as disguised allies in your journey of becoming. Faye discovered this truth in her moments of deepest shame about her envy. As she learned to hold these feelings with compassionate curiosity rather than judgment, they began to speak clearly of her soul's desires. Her jealousy of others' success revealed not her inadequacy, but her readiness to shine. Leonard's tale mirrors this wisdom. His anger, once a source of isolation, became the raw material for his greatest works. By befriending rather than fighting his temper, he accessed its underlying power. Through art, his rage transformed into passion, his fury into focus. The law of attraction works through authenticity, not perfection. When you deny parts of yourself, you fragment your creative power. But when you gather all aspects of your being, light and shadow alike, your manifesting ability grows whole. This principle reveals itself in nature's cycles. The moon does not apologize for its dark phases, nor does winter shame itself for its starkness. These periods of apparent darkness prepare the way for new light. Ancient practice of shadow integration. As emotions arise that seem to contradict your spiritual path, resist the urge to suppress them. Instead, welcome each feeling as a messenger. Sit quietly with its presence, thanking it for bringing awareness to an aspect of yourself seeking expression. Then, consciously channel its energy into one brave action that honors its wisdom. Let the power of acceptance transform what once seemed negative into creative voltage for positive change. Chapter 16. Collective Energy Web. Life's greatest lessons often arrive cloaked in shadow. Your resistance to certain emotions, the ones society labels as negative or unwanted, creates a barrier between you and your full creative power. Yet these shadows carry wisdom when embraced with understanding rather than judgment. In ancient wisdom traditions, emotional shadows were seen not as flaws to eliminate, but as messengers bearing gifts of transformation. What appears as jealousy may be your soul's recognition of untapped potential. What manifests as anger often masks passionate energy seeking proper direction. Fear itself can be a compass pointing toward necessary growth. The field of consciousness responds not to what you deny, but to what you acknowledge and redirect. When you judge an emotion as wrong, you split your vibration and weaken your manifesting power. But when you welcome all aspects of your emotional spectrum with compassion, you become whole, and wholeness is the frequency of miracles. Mabel discovered this truth in her workplace, where she noticed how moods moved through the office like invisible waves of perfume. One person's anxiety would ripple outward, affecting decisions and dynamics throughout the day. She realized that group consciousness amplifies whatever vibration dominates it, much like a choir magnifies a single note into harmony. This understanding of collective resonance reveals why your emotional mastery affects more than just your personal reality. The environment you maintain becomes a collaboration with unseen frequencies that influence all who enter your sphere. You are always broadcasting, always contributing to the collective field. Curtis grasped this principle when he began silently blessing everyone he encountered at his manufacturing plant. Rather than getting caught in the typical workplace dramas, he chose to see the divine spark in each person, regardless of their behavior. Within weeks, productivity mysteriously rose, conflicts decreased, and the entire atmosphere shifted toward greater cooperation. Without speaking a word about his practice, he had tuned the collective chorus to a higher note. This mirrors an ancient teaching that blessing others is a form of frequency medicine. When you consciously direct well wishes toward others, you alter the vibrational field around you. Reality must then rearrange itself to match this elevated resonance. The practice. Throughout your day, send a silent blessing toward each person you encounter. Picture light surrounding them, wish them well, see their highest potential, even if for just a moment. Watch how circumstances begin to rearrange themselves, mirroring back the harmonious frequencies you broadcast. This simple practice of intentional goodwill creates ripples of transformation far beyond what the physical eye can see. Chapter 17. The Science Within Spirit. Long ago, a watchmaker named Solomon discovered an ancient scroll hidden within the mechanism of a mysterious timepiece. The scroll contained a simple truth: observation shapes reality. For 40 days he tested this wisdom by watching his pocket watches with varying attitudes. Those he viewed with joy ran precisely, while those he regarded with doubt lost time. The universe operates as a vast laboratory where consciousness acts as both scientist and experiment. You are not merely moving through reality. You are actively participating in its creation through the lens of your awareness. This truth bridges the gap between the mystical and measurable, between quantum mechanics and manifestation. When you understand that your attention carries creative force, life transforms from a series of random events into a responsive field of infinite possibility. Just as light behaves differently when observed in quantum experiments, reality shifts its shape according to your conscious participation. Consider the double-slit experiment, where particles behave as waves until measured. Similarly, the possibilities in your life exist in a state of quantum superposition until collapsed by your observation and expectation. Your consciousness is the observer that determines which potential manifests into experience. This is not mere philosophy. It is supported by rigorous research into the nature of reality itself. Studies on meditation and mindfulness demonstrate measurable changes in brain structure. Research on the placebo effect reveals the power of belief to alter biological responses. Even studies on random number generators suggest human consciousness can influence patterns in seemingly random data. The field of consciousness research continues to validate what mystics have known. Reality is more like a living, responsive organism than a mechanical system. It pulses with intelligence, awaiting your creative participation. A merchant named Thomas tested this principle in his shop. Rather than anxiously watching sales figures, he began observing his business through the lens of abundance. He logged daily gratitude entries, measured customer satisfaction, and tracked synchronicity incidents. Within months, his revenue doubled, not through external changes, but through his shifted relationship with reality itself. When you approach manifestation as a scientist approaches discovery, with wonder, curiosity, and careful observation, you begin to see patterns emerge. The universe responds not to desperate pleading, but to consistent, measured attention combined with emotional coherence. Practice. Begin a manifestation laboratory in your daily life. Create a simple journal divided into 3 columns: intention, observation, and results. Each morning, set a clear intention. Throughout the day, observe without judgment how reality responds. Note any shifts in circumstance, mood, or synchronicity. Record results with the precision of a researcher, maintaining curiosity rather than attachment. Let your manifestations become experiments in consciousness, where faith transforms into empirical knowing. Chapter 18. The Ethics of Manifestation. In a village among ancient hills, a wise woman tended a garden where 2 identical flowers grew side by side. One she nurtured with pure intentions of beauty for all to share. The other she cultivated solely for personal gain, hoping to win a competition. Though given equal care, the first flower bloomed with extraordinary radiance, while the second withered despite all attention. The law of attraction operates through resonance with the highest good. When you align your desires with universal harmony, you tap into creation's natural flow. Your power to manifest increases exponentially when your intentions benefit the whole rather than just the part. Think of the universe as an infinite orchestra. Each player contributes to the symphony, and when one instrument tries to dominate, the entire composition suffers. True mastery comes from understanding that your desires are most powerfully fulfilled when they harmonize with the well-being of all. This wisdom reveals itself in the natural world. Trees in a forest share nutrients through underground networks, supporting the ecosystem's collective health. Similarly, your manifestations thrive when they nourish the greater good. The universe responds most generously to desires that expand joy beyond personal boundaries. When you attempt to manipulate outcomes solely for personal gain, you create resistance in the fabric of reality itself. Like swimming against a current, forcing your will upon others depletes your creative energy and often yields unintended consequences. The universe's intelligence naturally balances any attempt at exploitation. A merchant in the eastern lands once tried to manifest wealth by undermining his competitors. Though he gained temporary advantage, his success crumbled as customers sensed his misaligned energy. Later, when he shifted his focus to serving his community's needs, abundance flowed effortlessly. This principle extends beyond material desires. In relationships, career, and personal growth, your intentions create ripples through the collective field of consciousness. When you honor the interconnected nature of reality, your manifestations carry the power of universal support. The key lies in expanding your perspective beyond individual gain. Ask yourself, how does this desire serve the highest good? What positive impact will this manifestation have on others? When your intentions align with collective elevation, the universe conspires to support your creative power. Practice. Before setting any intention, pause and feel its resonance with universal harmony. Intend only outcomes that increase goodness for everyone linked to them, and feel relief as the universe handles details harmoniously. Let your desires become gifts to the world, and watch as reality responds with multiplied blessings. Chapter 19. Persistence of Faith. The law of attraction operates with perfect ethical precision. Like water finding its own level, Manifestation naturally seeks balance. When you align your desires with the highest good, you tap into the universe's own creative current. Your thoughts possess creative force, yet this power comes with sacred responsibility. Every intention ripples outward, touching countless lives in its wake. This is why the ancient masters taught that the purest manifestation emerges from love, not from need or greed. Consider how a garden grows. Each plant takes what it needs while contributing to the whole. No flower blooms at another's expense. This is the natural way of creation, and so it must be with your own manifesting power. In the distant hills lived a wise woman named Agnes, who held an unfulfilled wish close to her heart for many years. Though others might have grown bitter or resentful, she chose a different path. Each day she tended her dream like a precious seed, watering it with faith rather than forcing it to bloom before its time. The delay did not diminish her vision. Instead, it refined her signal, purifying her intention until it resonated with perfect clarity. Eugene's story teaches us similar wisdom. A brilliant inventor, he poured his heart into creating a device that would help many. As months stretched into years, frustration and impatience threatened to overwhelm him. Yet one morning he understood. His creation needed not his anxious energy, but his serene certainty. The moment he released his grip on time itself, success flowed to him as naturally as a river finds the sea. These stories reveal a profound truth. Persistence in manifestation isn't about forcing or struggling. It's about maintaining harmony with your vision, regardless of outer appearances. Time itself responds not to demand, but to the unwavering melody of aligned vibration. This is why many sages spoke of divine timing, not as an excuse for delay, but as recognition that the universe orchestrates countless elements to bring forth your desire in its most perfect form. When you trust this process, you allow the natural organization of events to unfold without resistance. The ancient practice of temporal trust. Each night as you prepare for sleep, settle into a state of calm certainty. Affirm silently that unseen orchestration is actively arranging all elements needed for your manifestation. Feel deeply that timing itself is your ally, not your adversary. Let this knowing permeate your being until peace replaces all urgency. Chapter 20. The Joy Key. In a remote mountain village, a weaver named Hilda spent her days crafting intricate tapestries. Each morning she would approach her loom with stern determination, measuring every thread with painstaking precision. Yet, despite her meticulous efforts, her work remained lifeless, lacking the vibrancy she yearned to create. One dawn, as sunlight danced through her window, a child's laughter echoed from the street below. Something shifted in Hilda's heart. She began humming while she worked, letting her fingers play with the threads as if they were streams of light. To her amazement, patterns emerged more beautifully than ever before, and customers appeared as if summoned by the joy in her weaving. The universe speaks the language of lightness. When you release the weight of trying too hard, life responds with unexpected grace. Your natural state is not one of strain, but of ease, like a leaf floating on a stream, carried by currents far more powerful than its own efforts. Think of how children manifest their desires. They don't strategize or force. They play, imagine, and delight in possibility. Their pure joy acts as a magnetic force, drawing experiences that match their carefree vibration. This is not coincidence, but cosmic law. What you broadcast with genuine feeling, you receive in physical form. Merle, a clockmaker, discovered this truth in his own way. His shop had grown quiet, his days heavy with worry about declining business. One morning, rather than fretting, he decided to whistle while he worked. He began treating each timepiece as a treasure to be enjoyed rather than a task to be completed. Within days, word spread about the cheerful clockmaker whose repairs seemed touched by magic. His simple shift from tension to delight transformed not just his mood, but his entire reality. Joy is not frivolous. It is the highest intelligence. When you approach life with playful expectation, you align with the universe's own creative force. Happiness is not the reward for manifestation. It is the method itself. Remember, the universe doesn't distinguish between laughter shared over coffee with friends and laughter during important negotiations. All joy radiates the same powerful frequency. Your delight in small moments sends ripples through the field of infinite possibility, arranging circumstances in harmony with your elevated vibration. The ancient mystics knew what modern physics now confirms. Everything is energy in motion. Joy is among the highest vibrational states you can achieve. It acts as a master key, unlocking doors that effort alone cannot budge. Sacred practice. Each day, set aside time for pure, purposeless joy. Dance in your kitchen, blow bubbles, skip down a hallway. Anything that sparks genuine delight. Don't try to manifest during these moments. Simply let yourself play with the abandon of a child. This seemingly simple practice realigns your entire energetic field, making you naturally magnetic to life's blessings. As you cultivate the habit of basking in joy for its own sake, watch how effortlessly your desires begin to materialize. Part 3. The Mastery of the Reality Bender. Chapter 21. Silence. The Supreme Technology. In a garden untouched by time, there once lived a woman who tended to rare flowers. Each morning she would rush between the blooms, measuring, pruning, and fretting over their growth. Despite her constant activity, the garden seemed to resist her efforts, the flowers turning away from her anxious touch. The universe whispers its deepest truths in silence. When your mind grows still, creation speaks in its native tongue. Lottie discovered this ancient wisdom when exhaustion finally forced her to cease her endless planning. In the space between thoughts, she found that visions appeared with crystal clarity, not as hopes or schemes, but as completed realities awaiting their moment of manifestation. This is the forgotten alchemy of stillness. When you quiet the endless chatter of the mind, you access the original programming language of existence. Like a clear pool undisturbed by ripples, your consciousness becomes a perfect mirror for divine intention. Claude, a merchant overwhelmed by countless decisions, stumbled upon this truth through necessity. His business had grown chaotic, until he began sitting in silence for 10 minutes before making any choice. In that sacred stillness, he found that synchronicity flourished. The right opportunities, partners, and timing arranged themselves with an ease that strategy could never match. The field of infinite possibility responds not to the noise of action, but to the power of presence. When you enter the silence, you step into the control room of creation itself. Here, in the space between words and wishes, your consciousness aligns with the universe's own creative force. Think of silence not as absence, but as presence, the presence of pure potential before it takes form. Like the pause between musical notes that gives rhythm its power, stillness is not empty, but pregnant with possibility. It is the canvas upon which all manifestation is painted. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Close your eyes and let your awareness rest in the silence, making no effort to control or direct your thoughts. Simply observe as your mind gradually settles, like sediment sinking to the bottom of a clear lake. Stay in this gentle stillness until you feel intuition rise naturally, offering its guidance without force or strain. This is the voice of pure knowing, uncolored by desire or fear. Let this wisdom emerge on its own, making no attempt to grasp or hurry it. The truth that comes in silence needs no validation. It carries its own certainty. Chapter 22. Gratitude, the Expander of Worlds. In the stillness of dawn, while others slept, Opal sat cross-legged on her worn kitchen floor. Though bills mounted on her counter and uncertainty clouded her future, she closed her eyes and whispered gratitude for abundance she could not yet see. Each morning she thanked the universe for the prosperity flowing into her life, for the opportunities unfolding, for the wealth already gathering, though her physical circumstances had not yet shifted. This practice seemed foolish at first, thanking the invisible. Yet Opal understood a profound truth. Gratitude shapes the quantum field of possibility. Like water filling a vessel, appreciation expands the container of what life can pour into your experience. By maintaining thankfulness for unseen blessings, she signaled to the universe her readiness to receive them. Within weeks, subtle shifts began. A forgotten debt was forgiven. A client referred 3 more. Resources appeared in unexpected ways, as if drawn by the magnetic force of her thankfulness. Opal had discovered that appreciation precedes manifestation. It is the blueprint that reality follows. Alvin witnessed this principle transform his struggling bookshop. Each morning before opening, he walked the quiet aisles, touching empty shelves with gratitude as though they overflowed with eager customers. He thanked the universe for the readers who would discover literary treasures within his walls, for the community that would gather there, for the prosperity that would sustain his dream. To his amazement, within months his small shop hummed with new energy. Customers tripled. Reading groups formed spontaneously. Local authors requested signing events. The very atmosphere seemed charged with the appreciation he had faithfully maintained before any evidence appeared. Gratitude, they both discovered, is not merely a response to good fortune. It is the very frequency that attracts it. By holding thankfulness for desired outcomes as though already accomplished, you tune your vibration to their manifestation. Appreciation signals to the universe that you are prepared for expansion. The wisdom lies in feeling genuine gratitude not despite current circumstances, but beyond them. This requires transcending the physical senses to touch the reality that exists in potential, already complete in the quantum field. Your thankfulness becomes the bridge between what is and what can be. Ancient wisdom practice. Choose one area of your life currently experiencing limitation. Sit quietly and feel genuine thankfulness for its resolution, as though already accomplished. Let your heart fill with appreciation for the abundance, healing, or harmony you desire, until the emotion becomes so real it instructs reality toward expansion. This alignment of gratitude with unrealized potential opens the gateway for manifestation. Chapter 23. The Energetic Signature of Love. In ages past, mystics spoke of a force more potent than any other, a frequency that transcends time and space, weaving together all moments and possibilities. This force is love, the foundational current upon which reality itself flows. Lena came to understand this truth through her own journey of awakening. Each morning she would sit in meditation, feeling waves of pure love emanating from her heart center. At first it seemed like a simple exercise, yet she began noticing subtle shifts in her daily experience. Synchronicities multiplied, and doors that had long been closed began to open effortlessly. The real revelation came through watching how this practice affected not just her immediate circumstances, but the very fabric of probability around her. Events that seemed fixed began to bend and flow, rearranging themselves in harmony with her loving intention. She discovered that love, in its purest form, speaks directly to the quantum field, bypassing the slower mechanisms of cause and effect. Harvey's story illuminates this principle with striking clarity. For years, he had carried the weight of family discord, a seemingly unchangeable reality of estrangement and misunderstanding. Traditional approaches, reasoning, negotiation, even time itself, had failed to bridge the divide. Then he discovered the ancient practice of unconditional goodwill. Each morning and evening, he would sit quietly and direct waves of pure love toward his family members, holding them in the light of acceptance without demanding any particular outcome. He released all judgment, all need for them to be different, and simply radiated warmth from his heart. What followed defied conventional logic. Family members who hadn't spoken in years suddenly felt inexplicable urges to reach out. Old wounds began healing without the need for explanation or apology. The field of discord that had seemed so solid dissolved in the presence of pure love. This is not mere sentiment or emotional indulgence. Love, when practiced as a conscious frequency, acts as a master key, unlocking doors that logic insists must remain closed. It operates beyond the limitations of space and time, creating resonance that ripples through the collective field of consciousness. The universe responds to love not as an emotion, but as a fundamental force of creation. When you align with this frequency, you tap into the primary current that shapes all reality. This is the hidden wisdom that sages have protected through the ages, that love is not just a feeling, but the very mechanism of manifestation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your heart center. Feel it beginning to warm and expand with pure, unconditional love. Allow this warmth to radiate outward in all directions, touching every person, situation, and possibility in your field of experience. Imagine this love light circulating through the invisible grid that connects all beings, nourishing every relationship and potential in your life. Maintain this practice for 1 minute, knowing that your loving vibration is contributing to the harmony of the whole. Chapter 24. Forgiveness. The Reset Button. A weary traveler named Sophia carried a heavy pouch filled not with gold but with memories of those who had wronged her. Each stone within represented a grievance, a betrayal, an injury to her spirit. For years, she collected these burdens, believing they protected her from future harm. Yet, with each step, the weight grew, until her very thoughts moved as slowly as her feet. The law of attraction responds not to your words or wishes, but to your vibrational state. When you hold on to past hurts, you create resistance in your energy field, like static on a radio frequency that distorts the pure signal of your desires. This interference prevents the clear transmission of your intentions to the universal field. Consider how a garden cannot flourish in soil cluttered with stones. Similarly, your manifestations struggle to take root in consciousness dense with resentment. The act of forgiveness is not about condoning what occurred, but about freeing yourself from its energetic echo. It is a gift you give yourself, the gift of clear reception. In a small village, an old craftsman named Thomas kept ledgers of every customer who had ever failed to pay. His workshop, once filled with creative inspiration, became a temple to old debts. One night, watching his candle flicker, he realized how much vital force he spent maintaining these records of grievance. In a moment of clarity, he burned the ledgers. Within days, new patrons appeared, bringing projects that reignited his passion for craftsmanship. Forgiveness operates as a frequency modulator. When you release the past, you tune yourself to possibilities rather than grievances. A bitter heart broadcasts on the frequency of lack, while a forgiving spirit transmits in the bandwidth of abundance. Martha, a seamstress, discovered this truth when she chose to forgive her former apprentice, who had opened a competing shop. Instead of feeding the conflict, she blessed her competitor's endeavors. Mysteriously, her own business began attracting a different clientele, one that appreciated her unique artistry. The energy she had spent guarding against betrayal transformed into creative innovation. The universal field responds to emotional coherence. Resentment creates turbulence in your vibrational output, while forgiveness restores harmony to your broadcast. This is not mere philosophy. It is energetic physics. Every grudge held creates interference patterns in your manifestation field. Ancient practice of cord cutting. Settle into a quiet space and close your eyes. Envision any person or situation that still carries emotional weight in your consciousness. See yourself connected to this memory by cords of light. These represent the energetic bonds of unresolved emotion. Now, with loving intention, imagine a blade of golden light in your hands. Gently and deliberately, cut each cord, watching as they dissolve into pure light. Feel the immediate lightness as each connection transforms from burden to blessing. Continue until you sense completion, allowing relief to flow through your entire being. Chapter 25. The Quantum of Choice. Long ago, a truth whispered through the halls of temples and monasteries. The moment of decision holds more creative force than 1,000 actions. This wisdom reveals itself now, as vital as it was in ancient times. The universe responds not to wishful thinking or endless deliberation, but to the clear command of a decision made with unwavering certainty. When you stand at life's crossroads, the power does not lie in weighing endless options. It rests in the magnetic force of choice itself. Wanda discovered this principle during a period of profound uncertainty. Each morning she would wake to the same swirling thoughts, analyzing the pros and cons of a career change until her mind became a maze of indecision. Yet, beneath the mental chatter, a deeper truth awaited recognition. Her endless contemplation created a fog of conflicting energies, each canceling out the other's creative momentum. The shift came when she realized that indecision itself was a choice, one that kept her suspended between possibilities without claiming any of them. The moment she made a firm decision, the fog began to lift. It was as though the universe had been waiting for her energetic signature, her vibrational announcement of intent. Howard's experience illuminates this principle with striking clarity. For months, he circled the idea of relocating, gathering information and making lists while remaining energetically uncommitted. His reality reflected this wavering frequency. Nothing moved, no doors opened, no clear path emerged. But when he finally allowed himself to feel the joy of decisive commitment, the universe responded with astonishing swiftness. Within days, unexpected resources appeared, perfect opportunities arose, and what had seemed impossible began arranging itself with elegant precision. This is the hidden mechanism of decision. It acts as a command to the quantum field, collapsing infinite possibilities into chosen reality. When you decide with emotional certainty, you broadcast a clear frequency that reality must match. Indecision, by contrast, creates a scattered signal that produces scattered results. The key lies not in forcing decision through mental effort, but in recognizing how each choice feels in your energetic body. The right decision resonates with expansion, while choices misaligned with your highest good create subtle contraction. Your body knows before your mind catches up. The ancient practice. Sit quietly and bring to mind a decision that has been eluding you. For each option, close your eyes and fully imagine having already made that choice. Notice how your body responds. Does your chest tighten or expand? Does your breath become shallow or deep? Pay attention to these subtle signals. When you find the choice that creates expansion, commit to it fully. Feel the relief and certainty of decision flow through you. Hold this feeling, knowing that your energetic commitment is already rearranging the universe to match your choice. Chapter 26. The Secret of Allowing. The moment you make a clear, unwavering decision, quantum possibilities collapse into definite reality. Like light choosing to behave as either wave or particle when observed, your consciousness shapes manifestation through decisive focus. Yet many mistake forcing for choosing, gripping so tightly that abundance cannot flow through constricted channels. Observe how the universe operates through allowance. The flower does not strain to bloom. It unfolds naturally when conditions align. The river does not push against rocks. It flows around them effortlessly. This is the hidden wisdom that Cora discovered after years of clutching desperately at her desires. Her tension broadcast a frequency of lack, telling the universe she believed what she wanted was scarce and difficult to obtain. When she finally relaxed her grip, abundance found its way to her naturally. The art of allowing requires trust in divine timing. Darrell exemplified this when seeking his ideal career. For months he obsessively checked job boards and counted the days since each application, his anxiety creating resistance in the field of infinite possibility. The moment he surrendered the timeline and focused instead on enjoying his current work, the perfect opportunity appeared as if by magic. His release of pressure cleared the channel for reception. Think of allowing as opening your hands to catch rain rather than trying to grab it. When you clench your fists, most of the water runs off. but open palms can receive abundantly. This is the paradox of manifestation. The less you force, the more naturally your desires flow to you. The universe responds not to desperate need, but to relaxed expectancy. Like a skilled dancer, you must balance clear intention with fluid responsiveness. Your role is to decide what you want with unwavering clarity, then release attachment to how and when it arrives. This creates the optimal frequency for manifestation. Ancient practice. Throughout your day, notice any tension arising when waiting for desired outcomes. As you become aware of this constriction, take a deep breath and release it fully. Then softly whisper to yourself, "I allow good to meet me now." Feel your entire being relax into receptivity. This simple practice helps shift from forcing to allowing, creating space for miracles to enter naturally. Chapter 27. The Frequencies of Health. In the depths of a forest, there lived a wise woman named Irene who had carried the weight of exhaustion for many seasons. Each morning she would wake to find her energy depleted, her spirit dim. Yet in this tale lies a truth about the power of story. Not just the stories we tell others, but those we whisper to ourselves. As moonlight filtered through her window one evening, Irene realized she had been narrating a tale of illness to every cell in her body. With each complaint, each sigh of weariness, she had been conducting an orchestra of decline. In that moment of clarity, she chose to rewrite her story, not as one of struggle, but as an epic of renewal. The body is an attentive listener, ever faithful to the frequencies we broadcast through thought and word. Like a garden responding to either nurture or neglect, your physical form aligns with the vibrations you consistently offer. Every cell contains infinite intelligence, waiting for direction from the master storyteller, you. Arnold discovered this truth during his own journey of healing. For months, he had waged war against his symptoms, viewing his body as a battlefield. But war creates only more casualties. One morning, while watching sunrise paint the sky, he shifted his approach. Instead of fighting what was wrong, he began visualizing the radiant health already present within him. He saw each cell illuminated with vitality, dancing in perfect harmony. His recovery, measured by his doctors, accelerated beyond expectation. This is not mere imagination, but the activation of your body's innate healing intelligence. When you shift your story from one of decline to one of revival, you alter the very chemistry of your being. Every thought ripples through your cellular matrix, either dimming or brightening your life force. The ancient healers understood this wisdom. They knew that wellness flows not from combat, but from conversation, a loving dialogue between mind and matter. Your body yearns to align with your highest vision of health. It simply awaits your permission, your new story. Morning practice. As dawn breaks each day, take a moment to greet your body with the tenderness of a mother addressing her child. Speak words of love and appreciation to every cell, every organ, every system. Envision golden light flowing through your being, awakening remembered perfection. Let your inner narrative sing of vitality, renewal, and vibrant well-being. Your body will hear this song and begin to dance to its rhythm. Chapter 28. Wealth, the Reflection of Worth. In a small village among rolling hills, Minnie worked tirelessly at her shop, convinced that wealth could only be earned through endless toil. Each morning she would rise before dawn, counting coins with furrowed brow. her shoulders heavy with the weight of scarcity. Yet, despite her relentless efforts, prosperity remained elusive, dancing just beyond her grasp. The universe speaks in the language of energy, not effort. Your relationship with abundance reflects your deepest beliefs about your own worth. When you value yourself highly, the universe mirrors that evaluation in tangible form. This truth revealed itself to many one transformative morning when she noticed how easily wealth flowed to those who carried themselves with natural dignity. The ancient wisdom teaches that abundance is not a destination to be reached through struggle, but a frequency to be matched through alignment. As Minnie began to adjust her sense of worthiness, treating herself with the respect she had reserved for others, her circumstances shifted mysterically. Customers who had barely noticed her shop now entered regularly, drawn by an invisible magnetism she had unknowingly cultivated. Rufus, a merchant in the same village, embodied this principle through a different path. While others clutched tightly to their resources, he discovered the paradoxical truth that giving with genuine joy created channels for greater returns. His generosity was not calculated, but flowed naturally from an inner sense of abundance. The more freely he shared, the more prosperity found its way to his door. The law of circulation governs all energy, including material wealth. Like a river that stays fresh through constant movement, abundance thrives in flow. When you restrict this natural circulation through fear or hoarding, you inadvertently dam the very stream that would nourish your prosperity. Consider how a flower doesn't strain to attract sunlight. It simply opens its petals in natural receptivity. Similarly, your role in manifesting abundance is not to force or struggle, but to align with the natural flow of universal prosperity. This alignment begins with your relationship to your own worth. Ancient practice. Throughout your day, find small opportunities for generous gestures, a kind word, a small gift, a moment of assistance. Treat each act of giving as a sacred practice in training your consciousness to trust in infinite supply. With every exchange, feel the joy of circulation rather than the fear of loss. Let each gesture, no matter how modest, remind you that you are a natural conduit for abundance. Continue this practice until the flow of giving and receiving feels as natural and effortless as your breath. Chapter 29. The Bend Beyond Time. A weathered merchant traversed the desert, stopping at an ancient well. As he drew water, memories of future prosperity filled his mind with such clarity that his present circumstances seemed but a passing shadow. This merchant understood what few dare to grasp, that time is not a rigid line but a spiral of infinite possibility, bending to the will of consciousness. The linear nature of time is perhaps the greatest illusion binding human potential. What you perceive as past, present, and future are simply different frequencies of the eternal now, accessible through the gateway of focused attention. When you tune your awareness to a specific possibility, you begin to magnetize that timeline into manifestation. Nadine discovered this truth during her morning meditations. Each day, she would experience moments of déjà vu so vivid that they could no longer be dismissed as mere coincidence. These glimpses revealed themselves as windows into parallel possibilities, proof that multiple timelines exist simultaneously, each one activated by the power of thought and expectation. The fabric of time responds not to the clock on your wall, but to the vibration you maintain. When you plant yourself firmly in the feeling of your desired outcome, time itself begins to reorganize events to match your emotional frequency. This is why gratitude practiced in advance holds such transformative power. Elmer demonstrated this principle in his own life. Rather than waiting for success to feel grateful, he began each morning in deep appreciation for the abundance he knew was coming. He gave thanks for clients not yet met, for opportunities still unseen, for prosperity still in ethereal form. Within weeks, reality began to reorganize itself around his practiced vibration. Opportunities that might have taken years suddenly appeared in days. Resources aligned as if orchestrated by an invisible hand. The key lies not in forcing time to bend to your will, but in aligning your consciousness with the timeline where your desires already exist. When you can feel the reality of your future blessings with such clarity that they become emotionally present, you create a bridge between possibility and manifestation. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment and close your eyes. Imagine your future self already experiencing the fulfillment of your deepest desires. Notice the joy in your future self's smile, the lightness in their step, the peace in their heart. Now, rather than viewing this as a distant possibility, begin to merge emotionally with this future self. Let their certainty become your certainty, their peace, your peace, their joy, your joy. Maintain this fusion until the distinction between then and now dissolves into pure knowing. Practice this daily until your future prosperity feels as real as your present breath. Chapter 30. The Creator Remembered. In the depths of an ancient forest, a sage once taught that time flows not like a river, but spirals like a dance. What appears as sequential moments are truly infinite possibilities coexisting in the eternal now. Your consciousness is the needle that plays this cosmic record, selecting which reality manifests through the power of your attention. Time bends to match your inner knowing. When you align with the frequency of your desired experience, reality reorganizes itself to reflect this harmony. The distinction between past and future dissolves in the presence of clear intention, allowing manifestation to occur beyond linear constraints. Think of time not as a fixed path, but as a malleable substance responding to the sculptor of consciousness. Just as light bends around massive objects in space, the fabric of time curves around concentrated thought and emotion. Your every assumption and expectation sends ripples through this field, drawing corresponding experiences into your now. The universe operates in cycles of remembrance. What seems like manifestation is truly recognition, the awakening to what was always available. When you release the illusion of separation from your desires, you discover they were never distant in time or space. They existed as potential, waiting for your consciousness to claim them. Through your own journey, you have unknowingly been both the author and the story. Each challenge, each victory, each synchronicity arose from the depths of your own creative essence. The power you sought was never external. It was the very awareness reading these words. This realization dawned on Sylvia during a moment of profound stillness. The search for manifestation power dissolved into remembrance of her innate connection to universal design. She understood that bending reality wasn't about gaining abilities, but about recognizing her role as a conscious creator. Vernon Jr. embodied this wisdom one starlit evening. As he gazed skyward and whispered gratitude for seeing himself reflected in the cosmos, a star flickered in response. In that moment, the distinction between observer and observed vanished. He recognized that the universe wasn't responding to him, it was expressing through him. The circle of creation completed itself in this recognition. Ancient practice. Each night, find a quiet moment and speak these words with gentle authority. I am both dreamer and dream. Let this truth settle into your being until the distinction between creator and creation dissolves. Feel serenity and creative confidence becoming your natural state of being. In this practice, you remember what was never truly forgotten, your oneness with the infinite dance of manifestation. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Through these chapters, an ancient truth has stirred within you, one that sages whispered of and quantum physics now confirms. Reality was never meant to be a prison of circumstance, but a canvas awaiting your conscious brushstrokes. The secret lies not in forcing change, but in remembering your role as co-creator in this grand cosmic dance. Your thoughts are not mere visitors in your mind. They are architectural blueprints laying foundation in the quantum field. Your emotions serve as the master builders, infusing these plans with life-giving energy. Your beliefs stand as the steadfast construction crew, working tirelessly to manifest these visions into physical form. When life seems to unfold at random, recognize that you are receiving precise feedback from a universe that mirrors your internal state with perfect fidelity. Each circumstance, each encounter, each seeming coincidence carries encoded messages about your current frequency of being. This is not mystical fantasy, but rather the physics of consciousness expressing itself through the material world. The field of infinite possibility surrounds you always, responding with unwavering courtesy to your inner dialogue. As you absorb these teachings, that very field has already begun reorganizing itself around your expanded awareness. Your decision to perceive life differently has already altered the coordinates of your reality. Continue your practice of gratitude, not as rigid discipline, but as natural as breathing. Let your imagination flow freely, knowing it selects from quantum probability. Allow life to unfold without resistance, trusting in the perfect orchestration of universal forces. Watch as what once seemed miraculous becomes your daily experience. You are both the scientist and the experiment, the observer and the observed. Every moment offers fresh evidence of your creative power expressing itself through the laboratory of your life.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.